Welcome, beloved, to this edition of Hear, O Yah. Is I is or is I ain't your brother, Gidon Ben Yashara. Where's all the children at? Hurry up and get them children. Where's Big Mama? Where's Pawpaw? Go out into the highways and the byways and bring all the kinfolk around the television set. Why? Because we have a special. That's right. We have a special program designed specifically with you in mind. But of course, the views and opinions expressed are those of me, a poor colored country boy cotton picker by way of Israel, and the panelists that Yah has set, but not those of Comcast, their management, advertisers, or affiliates. Today's program title is, oh yes, there is a mature verbiage alert. Why? We got the realist up in this piece. He might say anything. You know what I'm talking about? But today's program title is The Power of One. The Power of One. You know, it's interesting in this country. You know, Whitey has told you and all its minions and the people that follow his dictates that you need to vote for these killers. You need to support the killer in numbers. We need bulk votes. But in reality, it has been the power of one that has helped to galvanize our people from the very beginning. It was one, Melchizedek. He was the first king priest. He was an African Hamite in the land of Jerusalem before it was even called Jerusalem, that Abraham paid a tenth to. It was one, Abraham, who was called a friend of Yah, who Yah made a covenant with. And it was preceded by Abraham, who begot Jacob, one, Jacob, who begot Isaac, one, and those ones end up developing the children of Yashara'al. It was one, the anointed king, Yahushua, who came down, immaculate conception. I know you believe in vitro fertilization. You believe in test tube babies. You believe in all this red chill. But when I say immaculate conception, you get furrows in your forehead. You get wrinkles all around your face because you can't understand, and understand this spirit rat chill. But yes, the anointed king came without the help of a man's sperm. It was impregnated a woman, and he became the most powerful man on the planet and conquered death. It was the power of one. His name, Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable, who had a 3rd grade or 6th grade education and built a powerful nation right here to this day. People are following behind. Yes, sir. And it was the El Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, that one who, through the eloquence, through, what they call him, New York Red or something red, before he came, went into lockdown and he got well read. And he read the dictionary and came out and began to galvanize the people. It was this Marcus Messiah Garvey, one, who began to look at Whitey telling us, y'all, if you don't like it here, go back home. And guess what? He organized the people to go back. Our people showed the power that they wanted to go back. He was able to galvanize, and they bought ships and start going back. And when they went back and started going back, why they said, wait a minute now, we really didn't mean for y'all to really leave, nigga. We wanted you to stay. We were just telling y'all that to make you think we wanted you to leave. So they end up locking homeboy down, deporting him. He ended up dying in jail. You know what I'm talking about? It was the power of one, Malachi Z. York. In these days and time, he set up an understanding, began to build pyramids down in Putnam County, began to galvanize our people, Wesley Snipes, all this rat chill, you know, people. And guess what? He in jail right now because the power of one. See, when you get the at the end of the story, it is the power of one, each individual man, woman, and child, according to the Ruach HaKodesh, which is a Hebrew term that means the Holy Spirit. Once it endues you with the ability to pontificate and to give information to the mighty and the holy people, the rest of the sheep will follow. Because it is, unfortunately, that sheep mentality that's got our people thinking you vote for these killers and they're going to stop killing us. It's that sheep mentality that's got our people thinking that if you look like, act like, dress like Whitey, it's going to be better for them. It is a lie coming from the pits of hell. It is the power of one. Each one of you, your children, your mama, your daddy, they have power and authority. It's all according to your faith. And that faith, it was the power of one. Elder Yaakov ben Israel came in as a brother straight off the streets. And he came from the streets to the suites and set up organizations now that spread all over the world. It is these individuals who have superhuman power that have established organizations, ideals. It is Al Sharpton, the power of one, who support white supremacy, who support these killers, who tell you to vote for the liar and the thief and the man stealer, the rapist and all this rat here, even though he does help our people in a certain way by giving them an image of success. But it is his ability, his intellect, his dedication. He's on the air just about every day doing his thing. You can't take that away from him. So at the end of the day, the power of one supersedes the masses because the masses follow the power of one. I've got a couple of stories here. You know, there was a story about this man, I think it was in Detroit, the Motor City. He walked 20 miles, 21 miles, 10 and a half miles one way to work, 10 and a half back. And this man did this for 15 years, and guess what? Didn't miss not one day. You feel me? This was a strong soldier brother, melanated woolly hair. But see, this is the side story. Sure, we can get off into Whitey found out, gave him a car. Everybody's like, man, we can't have this nigga doing that, man. That make them look bad. Then we start having other little young folk see that example, and they want to work. I walk about 3.5, 4 miles to school myself every day. I missed a few days, though. I was selling that good. But anyway, it was one of those things that when the whiteys saw that, they claimed to, and then they put it out on the internet, and then people start getting money, this crowdfunding concept. But see, this was the thing I want to highlight. We can work miracles. Power of one, once again, they didn't highlight the fact that he wasn't married. You know why? Because if he had been married, what you going out there doing walking in this rain? You know you need to get you a car. You can't go out there. This man, for 15 years, I mean, he have the number of years down, was even more or less,
it was a long time.
Walked without an issue, wasn't married, didn't have nobody to come out and tell him what he couldn't do and can't do and why you doing this. He walked and he did it. Now the brother done got this money. Why done gave him this money? Guess what? He had to move out the house. Because folks around were like, man, you got this cheese. They plotting to take him out. Because this other dude was giving some money. They found him dead. This is the kind of folks we dealing with. You understand? And then the other story, but before I get to this other story, see, when you look at El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, and I thought Elder Sundown was going to be here today. Peace and blessings be upon him and among El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. But see, when you could get so much education, you so educated, you begin to hate on your own people. See, it was the intellectuals that, all those people that I mentioned, most of them, it was the intellectuals that got together and had them all killed. They saw them as a threat. It was John the Baptist, when he went to the rich king and told him, said, look, homeboy, you've been laying with your brother's wife. And he shouldn't have done that. Because who was it? His wife, once his daughter danced, the king's daughter danced in front of him, king said, look, I give you up to half my kingdom, girl. You shook that thing. You dropped it like it was hot. You hear me? Yin-yang in his thing. And see, the thing is, when he did that, you know, he set himself up. But this is what truth would do. It would set you up, and it would put you, for those who are in powerful position, don't want to relinquish their position. It is a point where they want to make position more than your life. And when his king said, I do that, she went to her mother. And what did the mother tell her? Said, look, ask your daddy to give me John the Baptist's head on a platter. And that's it. It hurt him. But since he said that he'd give her whatever she asked for, that's what she do. See, danger. Danger. Get on the floor. Because the spirit rat chill. Mystical. You heard it. See, the point is, when the spirit of truth comes, it becomes dangerous to the people who are in power, the people who are in leadership position. And that spirit will have them take your head. And when El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, with his soul rest in peace, came up and told what they, see, I've never worshipped a man. I love Elder Yaakov Ben Israel and all the subsets and the people around. You just walk right in front of the camera. That's all right, baby. Next time, walk behind him. But at the end of the day, you don't worship a man because he put on his clothes the same way you do.
Right.
He got to go to the bathroom. His behind stank just like yours. You understand? So when we start worshiping men, then we end up with problems. So when El-Hajj Malik Shabazz said what he had to say to the nation about the nation, his own people did what? They conspired and they killed him. You understand? That's what and you know the Muslims are some of the most intelligent, powerful, disciplined people on the planet. And they will kill you. You feel me? And that's exactly what, but see, Yeshua, it was the same thing. When he came up against the scribes and the Pharisees, and they were all, you know, had all the women following them and had all the rich men following them, and here the Messiah was somebody walking around with 2, 3 brothers on the street with dirty feet and everything because he walked everywhere he went. But see, what he did went healing. He went and gave them a word, and it didn't cost them anything. And when the people saw that, the scribes and the Pharisees saw that, what? They hated him, and they had him killed. You understand? Because the king, he said, I wash my hands of this thing. Matter of fact, at the end of the day, he said, look, I'm going to let y'all give you an opportunity for you to release him. Because we're at the time of release. I'm going to either let you have Barabbas, the sedition, murderer, liar, thief, killer, or you can have who your king is. And what did our people say? The same thing they say today. Give us the killer. We're going to vote for the killer. Let us have Barabbas. And let the curse fall on us. And that's exactly what it is. The curse has fallen on us. And it's killing us. Just like, and I'll last end with this right here. Well, let me throw this Dudley Hair Products thing off in here. Dudley had their hair convention. WAOK was out there on deck. You know, talked to my man, the Auto Insider, and, you know, Real Estate 101, Mary Gill. You know, and the point is, they're all black family. They strong, intelligent. But this is the thing, rich. This is the thing. Them chemicals, them dyes, them glues, and all that poison they got putting on your head. You understand? See, Whitey don't like you the way you are, and he done taught you not to like yourself.
Right.
You don't like your hair. You don't like your lips. Look, Kanye West's mother. Wasn't nothing wrong with her.
Nothing.
She went and had an augmentation, and guess what? They were taking her out in a body bag afterward. You understand? See, I understand, but when we get to this point, when we get to a point where we hate who we are, when we got to see, remember I told you all the story a while ago about the lady who was just braiding hair. This is what we do to our own hair. This is ours. Whitey can't do that. And guess what? She had to get a license She fought it all the way to the Supreme Court just to be able to braid her own people's hair. This is what Whitey got you off into. And that's where, see, the only people who could come to that hair conference were professionals. They had to be what? Licensed. Licensed by who? Whitey. See, that's one thing Dudley don't control is the licensing the white man does. So even though they had the conference and they putting all these chemicals in these sisters' hair and they hairs falling out, going to their brain, and then this mama them who hate their own hair. That's why they got it straightened out and they think, oh, child, you look good, your hair pressed, dyed, lied, stayed to the side. You got 17 different chemicals in there. Got homegirl going bipolar everything. You know what I'm talking about? So at the end of the day, let me just end with this script right here. And to my beloved family, you know, I've talked about Brother Daniel, his beautiful wife, Hadassah, great soldiers. I'm going to just read the script on this right here. Not the script, the letters for you very detailed individuals, but it's a letter from the king, my king. Because when we get down to it, as the scripture has told us, the new year is upon us. It's the time of the Passover. But our people still going to the white man's book. They're going to the farmer's almanac, but instead of reading, looking for the Abib, which is the budding of new life. That new life represents new year. You want to go to the white man. Keep going to him. That's who you believe in. But this is what the book says right here. I want to pick it up in Matthew 19. I want to pick it up at verse 26. I'm going to pick it up on this wise. And Yahshua, verse 25, when his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who then can be saved? But Yahshua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yah all things are possible. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed after you. What shall we have therefore? We've forsaken our wives, land, houses. You know, man, your wife, you tell her you're going to leave her, she get ready to cut your neck off. Verse 28, and Yahshua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that you which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Yasharal. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, brethren, sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. You think your lady gonna want to hear that? She don't give a damn about that. She care about what's happening today, right now. You understand?
What have you done for me
lately? You feel me? Verse 30, the last one. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And to this powerful panoramic cheer, to my right, you know who he is. Actor, intellectual. He is a man of many talents. He's a researcher. He is Vince Cheeks.
Thank you,
Peace
my
and
brother.
blessings
Thank you, my brother.
to
Good
the
to be
Hero
here.
Yah program. And to his right, you know who he is. He's the illest, the realest, the man and the dillest. It is Jay Realist up in this piece. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. You know what I'm talking about? And let me go to the realist, because you came up here with some books. You wants to educate. You wants to entertain. You know what I'm talking about? What is the Spirit giving you on this powerful day, boss?
Well, I remember you made a comment about Marcus Garvey and Haile Selassie and how they had a third grade education. That's not true. Paul Bogle was their teacher. Paul Bogle was he was actually a slave that Gregory Hill. Gregory Hill was a mulatto actually at the time. His father was like a doctor in Jamaica at the time, but they had a lot of land.
Yes.
So they gave this land to Mr. Bogle because they knew he was a great teacher.
Okay.
Mr. Bogle taught Marcus Garvey and Haile Selassie everything they knew.
Okay.
And with the way that they came out to the world, they had to get a hell of an education.
Yes, sir.
Because that brother was almost a billionaire in the 20s.
Come on now.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So you can't be a third grade dropout making $1 billion in 1920s.
Come on.
Then Haile Selassie. You know what I'm saying? And I give props to the red, black, and green into my rosters because I do believe in, you know what I mean?
You wearing red, black, and green.
Yeah,
You
and
got
I
a
do
little
believe,
yellow
but
off
this
in
more
there.
Pan-African. This is about my Pan-African
Yeah,
studies.
yeah.
though.
Right.
But Haile and Marcus went to the Queen together. Haile was the only one left with an army.
Come on.
Marcus died in a hotel room with ulcers. Okay? So that goes to show you the power of one was really Paul Bogle.
Okay.
Because he actually brought them together to be together, to rule together, or to bring us to enlightenment together.
Come on.
But the nigger concept kicked in
Yeah.
with whoever it was, you heard it? And you can look this up yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of research. And what you find out is that Marcus was left. You get what I'm saying? With his vision, his dreams, his money, his ships, Black Star fleets of ships and everything. And he was guarded in a hotel room where he couldn't leave, and he died of ulcers, of worration.
Come on.
While Haile went to Ethiopia as
Yes.
the king of Ethiopia.
Yes. The lion.
And he
has
say nothing
returned.
else about Marcus after he came back with that lion, that lion story.
Yeah.
You can take it as a lion or a
Yeah,
lie.
a lion.
You can do it how you want. So, moral of the story, once you get to the meat and potatoes and the atom and the nucleus of what's really going on, you'll find out what's on the surface ain't really what it is. Like, for instance, like my second part, like I brought this book here. This book right here solidifies and explains the whole reason for the ghetto. Okay, this was in 1942 when they actually creating the ghettos around in the 30s. But this particular book describes what the ghettos were supposed to do. Okay, they were a functioning killing camp. That's all it was supposed to do. They were supposed to starve you, double charge you for food, and when anyone went outside the pocket, they were hung in front of the children and everybody.
It's your camera right
And
here,
mind
Bo.
you, I have pictures depicting exactly what went on in these camps. And what I want everyone to really pay attention to is this skull and bones little symbol right here. Okay? Because I see y'all niggas
Yes,
running
sir.
around here with skull and bone shirts,
That's right.
skull and bone jackets,
That's right.
skull and bone, that's death, idiots.
Ignorant.
That's death.
Yes,
That means
sir.
you want to die.
That's right.
Especially when you went around with these pajama bottoms with skull and bones on them going in the grocery store.
Come on now.
Come on, bro. That's ratchet as they come. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Females.
Well.
So once you represent the skull and bones and make it a fashion statement, they already know it's time for you to die, and they need to hang you as quick as they can get their hands on you.
They
Okay?
will.
So I wanted to point that out to explain to you how actually, the ghetto and why the ghetto was even established. The U.S. looked at it like an economical benefit because they can make us all sick. Because you got to understand, you can't get money for the hospital. Say it again. You can't get monies for the hospitals unless you got sick people.
Exactly.
So they manufacturing sickness in our ghettos.
That's right.
That's why if you look at it, it's 26 million dying from food-related illnesses.
That's right.
So nothing has changed from this point to now, other than we wearing the shirts that represent death, and they wouldn't dare wore it because they know what it was about, death. Only thing they had to wear was their star that proved that they was Jewish. But you wearing a skull and bones, proving that you walking dead.
That's right.
That's got to be the dumbest thing on the planet Earth for our people to be wearing a cursed garment. So, and then to get back, and then I want to get into the schools.
Come on.
I sell cars, okay, and I'm not promoting my car dealership, none of that. It's
Go
whatever.
ahead and promote it, baby.
But
Don't be shy.
the money that we spend on cars, we can create schools for our children. The same 30 grand it took you to get that car, it's the same payment structure to pay off that 30 off. So it's $300 if you come see me. If you get 30,000 from me, it ain't gonna be over $350, $380.
Come on.
So why not take that instead of getting another egotistical item?
Materialistic.
Why not save these children who y'all claim are so gone? You got to understand, these children were being watched by adults.
Right.
So if you're older than these children, it's your fault. Every time you see a kid with his pants hanging off his ass, it's your fault.
That's right.
Elders. Every time you see a child with no information, it's your fault, elders, because you're still passing the blame that it's this. That's your black child.
That's right.
Even if he doesn't have your DNA or he doesn't have your address, that child gonna affect you and that village.
That's right.
By not being taken care of and or loved and or supported. So I say, quit buying cars, quit going to the club buying yin yang tapes and going to the club buying damn Louis V Hennessy when that money is to restore your community. It's to restore your community. But we're taking the monies that we're getting here, feeding our egos.
That's right.
The only thing we feeding is our egos because no one benefits but you. The power of one. That power of one has been tainted with the power of a chain, with the power of some new J's. When Jordan's spending $200 million in penal systems to lock your ass up soon as you buy these sneakers. So if you think new J's is getting you, jump man mean jump, nigga, jump.
That's right.
Because you will be locked up and he's making sure he the new Bob Barker.
That's right.
Michael Jordan is making your soap, your mattresses, your uniforms right now with the purchases of those sneakers.
Yes.
So y'all are buying into your own death.
That's right.
Into your own demise. So until y'all start grabbing books, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you what the next book going to come out. And it'll probably come out in about 40 years. It's going to look like this. The good old days.
That's right.
Where they taking props and they drinking about all the people they murdered and they maimed and they killed. Right. One of the guys in here, one of the generals in here, held the hand of a little Jewish girl. And 30 minutes later, they were shooting her 5 times in her chest, putting her down up in a hole. And I'm going to show you the hole that I'm talking about.
Who wrote that book, boss?
This is the hole that they dug for thousands and thousands of people that would not bow down to their ghetto slash Hitler's concept.
That's right.
But this book is literally applauding these people, applauding these murderers, these bystanders, these proprietors that actually sat back and drank liquor while children were being murdered by the thousands.
That's right.
So
who wrote the book?
The book was written by Mr. Clee Dressen. Clee Dressen Resson.
Called the good old days.
Look, Clee is spelled Klee. Dressen is Dressen. Last name Riess.
Okay.
So peep game. They actually making books about killing people that look just like them.
That's
so
right.
What you think they gonna do? They gonna make a damn almanac about the ones they gonna kill here, because we rocking around with skull and bones on our damn shirt.
Now, before we end, I want you to let people know how to contact you about this car piece. You mentioned that, you put it in the universe.
Well,
throw it out there.
only reason I'm gonna mention my car business and supporting people with vehicles is because I have a credit union concept. I'm not slamming people in the cars for 16, 29, 39% interest rate. Max period is 6% interest. Then what I'm doing is a humanitarian car sales aspect, because when you come to me, you're gonna have better credit. You're gonna be able to go back to your bank and get another car instead of going to Craig and them and that list and all them little knuckleheads running around here Jewing you for your money and giving you a regular car. This is credit union power. This is state money. So once you come to us, you automatically get a warranty, and you automatically get, like I said, the 6% interest, and your payment is generally way under $300 a month. Okay, so I say all this to say, if you need a car and you need a plan with a car, escrow with a car, great bank with your car, then you holler at me. But if you just want to get slammed like a lot of people I get that just rush it, look, I just need a car. I ain't got no car. Do you know what? There's a mom and pop car out for you with 29% interest rate waiting on you. And they're going to bang you upside the head as soon as you got them show up.
That's right.
So if you want a good deal, call me. If you want a deal, just call anybody. They got you.
How they call you?
You can call me at 678-536-3072.
Again?
I'm going to say it again. 678-536-3072. And I might drop a little knowledge in your tank. How about that before you pull out?
You know, Brother Vincent, you've heard a lot today, and I know you got a lot because you're an educator, not former, but you still educate. Educate us on the power of one.
Okay. To speak to what you're talking about with the power of one, and to speak to what Jay Willis is talking about with the ghettos,
yes, sir.
I'm going to see if I can tie those two together.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned Jesus earlier.
Yes, sir. Yeshua on my account.
Yeshua.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeshua. We know the power that he had.
Exactly.
You you mentioned how his power made others want to kill him and did kill him.
Exactly.
Do you know why that is?
Go ahead, tell
That's because the power of one is influential.
Yes, sir.
The power of one is influential. When you take one individual, and for me, I'm gonna say Jesus because that's
Okay.
what I grew
Yes,
up
sir.
with.
Do what you do.
When I follow Jesus, I've caught flack from certain people, even Brother Yanga, who's out today. I hope you feel better, bro.
Yeah, brother Jenga. And of course, Black. You know he don't want you to hear nothing about no.
But when I think of following Jesus, because some people may say you shouldn't be following a man, and he was a man. I don't necessarily follow him as the man per se. I
Exactly.
follow what he did.
Okay.
And for me, what he did was he was a servant to others.
Yes, sir.
He operated in love,
That's right.
and he obeyed.
Okay.
He obeyed what his father told him to do.
Exactly.
If you do those things, for me, it inspires and motivates you to want to find your own power. And because Jesus has already made the example, we know it can be done. We also know what happened to him. The powers that be want to keep us in a state of mind where we can't attain that power of one that you're speaking about.
Exactly.
Because that's why they try so hard to keep us downtrodden and distracted. Because if you're downtrodden, you feel like you're nothing, you're miserable, you can't focus your mind to ascend you to the state of consciousness that you need to be to ascertain your power of one.
That's right.
So, if they keep us downtrodden and in a negative mind state all the time,
In the ghetto.
that's one of the reasons they put us there.
Right.
Is to keep us in these contained boxes
That's
of,
right.
of misery,
That's right.
if you will.
That's right.
And the more misery you're surrounded by, misery is also infectious.
crime.
It's definitely
Misery loves
infectious.
company.
Yes, it
Crime
does.
loves misery.
Right. And so, if they can keep us in these downtrodden mind states and they can keep us distracted, and when I say distracted, I'm talking about video games,
Right.
football games,
Big booties.
concerts,
Yeah.
big booties, men, our weakness
Shake
is that
dance.
booty. If you put enough distractions
Exactly.
in front of our face,
That's right.
we also won't be able to focus our mind on the things that we need to focus on to elevate ourselves to that level of consciousness so that we can ascertain again that power of one.
That's right.
So the ghetto has a purpose.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The ghetto has
It
a
just
purpose.
won't
Like you
serve
were
us
saying.
no good.
Right. And in my ignorance, prior to a month ago, I was telling Jay Rillis, I thought the ghettos was always something America had concocted for us blacks specifically
Right.
to keep us in that miserable, downtrodden state of mind.
Uh-huh.
But I learned through reading, please, black people, pick up books, read.
Please,
Any
please,
man
please,
educated only in the American
Please,
education
please.
system is not a very educated man at all.
Right.
Okay? So please do your own studying, do your own research, do your own reading. But the ghettos, like Jay Rillis was talking about, it was basically started up by Hitler and was implemented for the Jews. So,
Right.
in essence, America did what they usually do: is go
It was
take
implemented
something,
for the
go take something from somebody else,
Exactly.
and incorporate it into themselves. And so, I don't know if y'all know this, but y'all know who J. Edgar Hoover is, right?
Yeah.
I know
the
she.
faggot
I know
punk.
she is.
Yeah.
I know she
Yeah.
was.
Well, then you know what I'm talking about.
Pervert, deviant.
Talking
Yeah,
about her?
yeah.
You talking about her?
Go
Right.
ahead.
Okay, you
Right.
talking about her?
Hoover had this fear.
Right.
Hoover's sole purpose, other than taking out Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King was his biggest adversary.
Right.
Hoover had this fear that,
There'll be
oh my
another
God,
Messiah.
we have to keep the black man subjugated. We have to keep him downtrodden and
got you.
distracted because of the fear
Right.
that there may be another
uprising.
Messiah
Dreaded
to
retribution.
rise.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean?
That's right.
And just imagine if he has this deep-seated fear. Fear comes from a place because you know the truth.
Yes, sir.
You know the truth of your actual destiny and your ending.
Right.
And so he had such a deep-seated fear of the black men that he wanted to keep us in such a state of misery and downtroddeness that we couldn't ascertain and reach the highest goals of our consciousness and connect
That's what
with the
drugs
Creator.
and alcohol for.
Right.
That's right.
To
Right.
cloud that vision.
Right. And so Hoover's main goal was, let's keep them sedated and subjugated.
That's it.
So
Yes,
they
sir.
won't realize
Right.
the
What's
power
going
of one that they have
That's-
inside them that they can
that's right.
easily connect to
Come on. Come
if they
on.
make the conscious choice
Yes.
to connect to it.
Woo.
So you gotta understand, it's a dirty game you playing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, I want to jump in here on this
It's a
thing
dirty
because I
game.
mentioned the Dudley products, and you
Right.
know, are you
Yeah.
South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North
North
Carolina,
Carolina,
our
okay.
hair. People don't understand. You know, I get looks about my hair all the time.
Right.
You know,
'Cause
you
they love
look at
the
it.
crown.
You
It's
know what I'm
that
saying?
crown.
It's a connect. See, biblically,
crown.
I don't know if you remember the story of Samson and Delilah.
Yes, sir.
The strength, he was a Nazarite. A Nazarite is the one who's made a vow. He wouldn't cut his hair, he wouldn't drink wine. He had certain vows that he was keeping himself pure and in shape. Of course, Delilah, but his problem was
With that
he
kitty.
wanted that kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
He had all the women among Yashara all to deal with, but he wanted to go get a stranger. This was part of the legacy that he had, but it shows us our weakness. If our
Right.
children would read this story and understand, see, when you fall for that cat, when you enter that treasury, she got you on lock, baby. Yeah, I mean, and the term baby is produced out of that lock. And
Right.
once she gets you into that baby, then you ain't got no authority, no way.
Nowhere.
And the only issue is, and he created a mindset where brothers would say, look, I am not meant to be controlled. So
Right.
guess what? I'm up out of here.
Right.
So the white man played off that whole scenario, said, look, you don't need that nigga. We got you.
That's what Section 8 did.
That's what Section 8,
Section
that's
8,
what
child support, food
Roosevelt
stamps.
came up with the whole concept. Get the man out of the house
Household.
and it helped to produce these niggas that we got running around,
Right.
killing, robbing, raping, stealing, and now we hate ourselves.
Right.
We hate our future.
Our people,
Right.
Our
children.
children that
Right.
we raise, because the man's no longer in the house, the woman is running around with her daughter out there dealing with the same dude in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, they clubbing. So that we've been on a vicious cycle. But now, when we get back to the hair, that's when I was in Jamaica. You mentioned Paul Bogle. I'm so glad you did. The issue of intellect does not lead itself to a classroom. The whole world is an
Oh, yeah.
educational location as
Most
long as
definitely.
you are being taught the proper way to observe it.
Yes.
Right.
Not from a classroom where you sitting in this chair reading through a book all the time. It's getting out and being exposed to
Right.
the environment,
Right.
exposed to nature.
Right.
Our hair is a part of the growth. I don't care how much you keep cutting it off. Guess what? Most of the time it keep coming back. Why? Because it's supposed
And
to
it's in
be
360.
there. It
Our
is
hair
in
is 360.
360.
Right.
It is a natural component, and in its natural state, it allows us. See, your hair is like a world, and you, as a creator, control your world. Now, how do you dominate your world? Do you cut it all off? You ain't gonna grow. I ain't gonna let you grow.
Yeah.
You put chemicals in it.
Yeah.
See, that whole concept is a concept that shows how we either love ourselves or hate ourselves.
Right.
Now, when we talk about the issue of our people, and we talked about education. Oh, by the way, 770-559-2999. 770-559-2999. This is your program. Whether you agree or disagree, call in. I would love to talk to people who disagree. We know you watching. Call in. You feel that? Now, let's get back to this power of one, because again, our people we have a herd mentality.
Right.
Whether it's in the Hebrew community, the Muslim community, we are taught to worship men. I want to ask you, what are your concepts about the worship of men and idolization of men?
Well, for me, I don't worship any man. I worship my Creator. I give all glory and praise to my Creator. Now, if I happen to find a good man, and by good man, I mean that's
Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar.
that's subjective. Good man is subjective.
It's definitely.
Put him out there.
But if you know your God and you know your discernment, you can read people's energies and you can
Right.
tell, you know, who's on the up and up and who's not. But for me, following man is not acceptable because men make mistakes. Men are gonna fall. Men are
Right.
gonna fall repeatedly. And if you're following this man that's falling repeatedly, guess what you're gonna do?
Fall.
You're gonna fall repeatedly.
Yes.
Now, this concept of what you said, as far as wanting everybody to do everything in mass and in groups. Why is that? If you get everybody to think in a group mentality, once you step outside of the group mentality and go against the grain, it's something wrong with you now.
It's definitely.
You're crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
But the Bible creates that. I'm gonna be real
No,
honest.
you're right.
The Bible is
Come
the
on.
most prolific
Right.
tool of dividance than any other thing on the planet Earth. Because everybody that read it don't believe in it. Everybody that do believe in it doubting it. And everybody that know better know ain't no black man have nothing to do with it.
Right.
Okay? So by us keep paying homage to these stories of this guy fighting a giant with a slingshot, and we get into these stories of some guy in his hair and his perm, and he losing power because his perm, y'all have been duped. Y'all are still running around here with the same ideology that the slaves were made
to believe.
to believe.
With
I'm gonna say it again. Made to believe. Because if you snatch me up from Africa and you hit me with a book talking about I love you with this whip, and you get to beating me and stuff talking about read, I promise
And
you,
his book say I
I'm
can
gonna
do all
denounce
this.
everything in that book, and I'm not gonna wait 300 years later to stand up for it. You feel me? Because my motto is this: Stockholm syndrome is real.
It's real.
Stockholm syndrome is when your capture has captured you, has put you in bondage, have robbed you of your language, robbed you of your culture, robbed you of your God, and then give you one. And now we
And you
run around
cozy
here
up
talking about
to it.
Jesus, oh my
cozy up
God,
to it.
Jesus. That cracker laughing at y'all so damn hard, like, boy, I got these niggas right where I need them. Because they always running back to my God. Because Jesus told him to beat you. Jesus told him to make you a slave. Jesus told him to maim you, rape your children. And now you're going to run around here with this Biblos. Biblos means small book in Latin. Find out why they call it Biblos, and in Spanish they call it Biblos also. Biblos means small book. Why do you think the rest of the world associate that book as a small one when we run around here, oh my Jesus, Lord, Lord. God ain't the book.
God is not the book.
God is not the book.
He is not the book. I
God
promise
is
you.
not in nothing made by man's
God is
hands,
not
and
the
the
book.
book said it.
God
So
is
why
not
are
the
you
book.
taking that crucifix, making it a cross? Why are you taking that Bible and making it his words? These are not his words. Because his words is the whisper in your ear when you're getting ready to do something stupid. His words is when you're wronging that child and you catch yourself and apologize.
Right.
That's God's word.
Now,
God
let me
is
challenge
inner.
you on that because, see, the issue that I have is you just gave us 2 books. And then you told us
I'm
that
talking about that one.
Wait a minute.
I'm
You
talking about that
told
one.
that.
Hold
You
on,
told
go ahead,
us
brother.
that we supposed to believe what this white man said in his history.
You do already.
And
Give me
I'm
the Bible.
telling you
do already.
that what you saying is that I didn't just denounce anything you said. You came up here with books. You came up here, and these were books that people who hate us,
Yes.
that
And they taking
came and
props
destroyed
for it.
our history, came up here with.
They ain't gonna lie
What
about
I
what they did
gave
to you.
you, it was the words that you can either agree with or disagree
Yeah.
with. Now, our children are already confused.
Yes.
So when you come up here with books, who not your, did any of your ancestors write those books?
No, these are not
They
my
so
ancestors.
did.
This ain't even
My
about my
ancestors
people.
wrote this book right here. They're
Who?
Hebrews.
Who? What's their name?
They're named John, Luke,
That's some
Matthew.
white folk.
No, they're not.
Hold
Those
on.
are European
Is his
names.
name Iquasi and Fumu?
And
Is his name an African name?
The names were transliterated. So the
You
point
can't
is,
translate Quasi to John.
this is the point that I'm telling you. When you come up here and tell our children, and you can tell them what you want. See,
So
I'm
you mean
about,
to tell me you can
I'm
take
about
an
freedom of
African name
speech.
and
Hold
make
up.
Jeff out of it?
I'm about
hold on.
freedom of speech.
Okay.
You understand? So that's why anybody can come on this program and
Yeah.
say
Right.
whatever they want
That's
to.
real.
Right.
That's why I've been cut off, cut out, put out so many places, churches, for
Yes.
saying what I knew to be true with the book. So I don't stop anybody from saying what they want to say. But at the end of the day, I challenge you and anybody else when it comes down to the truth of this book. Our ancestors wrote it. When you do a history, you'll find out who wrote the book. Obviously, you haven't done your research because you say ain't no black folks in it. That everything in here is about the black
The
folks.
tribe of Leviticus
The
priesthood
whole
and the
book
tribe
is
of Judah.
about black folks. You don't even know your own history, and you trying to tell other folks to read a book that our people didn't have nothing to do with. So I'm going to leave you with that. You come back in here.
I just want to ask, has that book saved you?
Hold on.
Has that book put you in a warm and fuzzy environment as soon as you close it? Soon as you close it, do God step in and protect you? 10 seconds.
It protects me before I close.
Oh, Lord.
Before I tell you about it.
Trayvon Martin was protected, even though his mother and father were Christians.
Well,
They were protected.
No, the Christianity.
Martin Luther King was
wait,
protected.
Let me ask me a question.
Martin Luther King was
it.
protected with the same book in his hand.
I
and he
will
got death
answer
row.
your question.
Okay.
All right? The book and the people that we are, because of the circumstances that we're in, we are set here to be a sacrifice.
Oh, you said his sacrifice.
That's
I ain't no sacrificial lamb. I'm
I
sorry, that's what
understand.
your book told me.
I'm telling you about me.
I'm not
telling you about
Okay,
you.
I'm not sacrificing.
My people were put
I'm
here
a
for a
warrior.
sacrifice.
I'm
That's why
fighting.
Trayvon, Eric Gardner, Mike,
Died for the Lord.
Katherine Johnson,
Died for the Lord.
and Kenneth Walker,
Died for the Lord.
Corey Ward. The names can go on and on.
They died for God.
They are being sacrificed because we're sent here for a sacrifice. That time has come. We are of a royal lineage. We are of kings and priests.
But when we
at
just
the
jump
end
out
of
in
the
traffic
day,
and just get ran over.
well, that's what Satan told the Messiah. Why don't you throw yourself
you
out
throw
this
it up the
building?
mountain, right.
So
You
that
might
there
as
you
well.
go. So see, that's an understanding. See, I have to love you despite what you think.
Yes.
I love black despite what he
think.
thinks.
Exactly.
Because that's what, even in our church, our group, we got an elder called Elder Malik. Elder Malik is one of the most avant-garde. He actually drew this
Malik,
picture.
you
I know, right. I said, let's have Elder Malik come to our group. Everybody in the group was down with it until one person, the power of one, found out. Oh, he said this back in the day. He said, see, every year we do what's called Passover, Day of Atonement.
Dividends.
Where we supposed, this is where we supposed to
Why
forgive.
y'all ain't come back to the Bible and tell that
This
brother
is
to
my
come
point,
in?
where we're supposed to forgive. But there's liars within our family because they have never forgiven. See, Elder Malik is a person that isn't guided by what people think. He's very,
bold,
but he's arrogant
very
and
talented.
he's selfish as well.
Very talented.
That's just what people who have a lot of intellect, they get arrogant, they get built up within themselves. See, the scripture tells us about humility, and that's what our people haven't learned. And that's what all the warriors, they gonna get killed off. Because the
already getting
scripture
killed.
said,
We're already
thank
getting
you.
killed.
That's what I'm telling you.
The
So,
revolution
the war
started in the 30s.
Wait a minute. The war is here. That's why humility is something that has to be learned. That's why you have to learn how to. That's why our children are being killed. They've gotten arrogant. They think they want that Nina. I got my Nina. That Nina means death, just
But
like
he
that
was a
skull and
child
bone.
before he got that Nina. He was a baby
Let
looking
me
for.
say this.
Go ahead and jump in here.
Let me say this.
Go
Let
ahead.
me say
Yes,
this.
sir. 770-559-2999.
Please call
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me
Please
clarify something. I believe in Jesus. We talking about Jesus, right? Yahshua. We talking about Jesus, right?
Joshua.
I do not.
They're different.
I
Go
do
ahead.
not. I do not believe in white hippie Jesus. Let me put that out there
Exactly.
right
His
now.
name was Serapis Christian.
I was talking about,
his real name.
and I do have issues with the Bible. I have not read the entire Bible, but God has led me to certain books in the Bible that has helped me in my life.
Right.
I also know the Bible was written to be confusing and not easily decipherable. And so me and Brother Turu was talking about this yesterday. If you don't know how to interpret the allegories and the symbolism in the Bible,
You need to be reading.
Right, you just reading words on the
It's going
page.
to create pure confusion.
Oh,
Because
we
that
got-
Bible is talking to two groups of people.
Right.
It's talking to the Masonic order so they can know what to do in the days to come. And it's talking about the 85%
We got a
that ain't
call.
going to know
We
nothing
got a
that's
call.
going to read it on the surface.
got a
Okay,
call.
let's go to the call.
Right.
770-5.
That surface
Let's make
reading
sure Black. Let's make sure our speaker in the studio is up. Put the spot so that we can hear. Caller, welcome to the Hear O Yah program. What is your name, question, or comment? Caller, that would be you. Speak to us.
This is the power of one. Y'all was talking about the Bible and the knowledge of the Bible. Let's talk about
You don't know nothing
Let's
about
talk
the
about
Bible,
the
boss.
I'm finna break it down for you.
Go
You're
ahead.
going to get this. You remember when they talk about how Jesus supposed to had fed 5,000 people? Do you know what that was? That was allegorical, like you said. What it was, he was teaching them Christianity versus Muslim. You get what I'm saying? He brought them Christianity, the knowledge of Christianity. And they all were already Muslims. So he didn't feed them no fish. Because in the Bible, feeding means knowledge.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Death means death to knowledge in a lot of cases in the Bible. Then we can go, let's go to Mordecai. Show you I done did my research.
Okay, go ahead.
Mordecai had 2 females with him, Esther and Ruth.
Okay.
The king told her, look, ooh, I like her. I want her to come to my party. You know what she told him? I ain't coming. Now, mind you, in those days, that king could have had her picked up, brought, stripped naked, done whatever. You know why he didn't do nothing to her? Because she was a 33rd degree out there, mate. She knew her numbers. She knew her math. Mordecai was the 33rd degree. He was the male version. That's why he left with his ring, his robe, and his horse.
Mordecai wasn't no Mason. That's a lie.
No, I'm going to break it down to you on how I
he
know.
wasn't.
Why you give this man your pinky ring, your robe, and your horse?
Where is that
Because
written?
it's in your Bible. I thought you read it.
No, it's not. That's
Okay,
a lie.
and then on top of that, when she didn't show up, guess what? He finally got up with her and they ruled together. She had her
Yes, now
concubines.
that's true.
She
That's
had
true.
her concubines. He had
Right.
his concubines.
Right.
So basically, people, we got to remember this. It ain't about us arguing. It's about us coming together as one. You feel
Well,
me?
what it's not
Woman
about
and man,
is
woman and man
wait a minute,
are
hold
one.
on. It's not
Woman
what
and
it's
man
not
are
about
one.
is because I can talk just as loud as you. I can get just as hype as you get.
Nah, I'm just
see,
getting
all
the
that
point
don't
across.
that don't mean
You
nothing
wouldn't
to
let
me.
me speak,
See,
that's
no,
all.
I let you speak. But see, at the bottom line, when you telling lies, you don't know what you're talking
All
about.
right, gavel
See,
at.
the Bible
Go get the Bible. It's right
is-
there. Read it.
I'm reading it, and I'm getting ready to read it.
Okay.
See, when it comes down to my history, my culture, I know what it is. See, when you talk about it, you bring a white man's book in here talking about what the white
That's
man
what he
said.
did, it's a
No,
white
that's
man
what
book.
you brought. I'm telling you what you
Put
brought
white
up in
man
here.
name on that
So you
Bible.
don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the Bible. What you're doing
the
is filled
dividers
with a lot of
Right, that's
emotion.
what I'm about to say.
Now,
The
see what I'm
book-
saying?
The book is
creates
causing
drama.
the book is causing division
You don't know
clearly
it's-
at this table.
And look at that.
No, we're not
That's
divided.
because of that
No,
book
no,
and my
we're not
comment.
divided. But see, the point is, see, the realists and
But the
other
power-
emotionally charged people think
The
because
power
they
is
talk
not
loud
in the book.
and they can,
The power is not in the
incite-
book, people.
You're right.
The power is not
The
in the book.
power is in the
That's
word.
the bottom line.
Now, that's how. What is the power of one? It is the ability to use the words that come from an individual, and that word becomes life. See, it's
Yes,
not how much
I
you
agree.
holler and how you.
No,
your hands.
I'm
See,
just
I can do
passionate.
all of
I'm
that.
passionate.
We both passionate.
I'm sorry,
But
I
see,
just
I
don't
can
speak
listen
like
to
regular
you,
people.
and I can understand. But when you
Yeah.
start telling lies, I'm gonna get front that. Now, you
What
asked
make it a
about the
lie?
script. Let me read it. Let me in Matthew 12. I'm gonna pick it up at verse 46. It says, "While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak to him." Now, you see how confusing this is, or see if you can understand this. Then one said unto him, "Behold, your mother and your brethren stand without, desiring to speak with you." But he answered and said unto them, But he answered and said unto him that told him, "Who is my mother, and who are my brethren?" And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, "Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my mother, my brother, my sister." Now, see, at the end of the day, I still love you, just like I still love
If
realists.
you operate in
See,
love, you operate in love.
Hypocrisy is one of those things where when you say one thing and you do something else. So you came on here with some books.
Yes, I had
And
to.
you came on here with some white man books that don't have
These Germans.
these
These
Germans,
Germans.
that hate us and been killing us.
Yeah.
I came on here with a book that our ancestors wrote. You don't have enough sense to know that
Ooh.
because you haven't done your research. You talk research, but what you talk is a lot of emotion because you
No one was
you
there
live
when that book was
350
wrote.
And you're a big
There was
you're a
no
big time
one
brother.
there. We
That
was
means
not
zero
there.
to
One
me.
thing
You
I know,
understand?
one thing I know about Jesus, he didn't operate from no book. I know
Right,
that.
he operated from
his
But
spirit.
we
He
do.
operated from his connection with God. He told people, "I'm gonna be over here telling the truth."
Amen,
Either
brother.
you can come listen to me tell
Exactly.
the truth, or you can go walk that way
But
and
let me
go about
educate
your
you
own
a
life.
little
You know
bit.
what I mean?
Now, what Yahshua did, it was his custom on the Sabbath to stand up to read out of the law.
Okay.
So that he did operate from a book. It was the Torah. Understand that. That's written, and that's what we as Hebrews do. See, brother, I came up in the streets.
So
I've
why
been
we don't
dealing
have the
with
Torah
brothers.
now?
We do.
Why we're going
It's,
out of
it's the first 5 books of
King
the Bible.
James version?
But King James was the.
I done
See,
heard
let me
some stuff about
educate you
King
on that.
James that I don't even
King
want to get into
James
right
was
now. That's a whole
merely the
nother show.
authority that gave them the
right to change it.
authorization
To change the
To
book.
change it,
not
which
to
was
change
supposed
it.
to be changed.
No, not to change it, but to transliterate
No,
it
they
from
changed
one
the
language.
word
It was a lot lost.
Ecclesiastics
It was
to
a lot.
Ecclesiastes.
Well,
It was
there
a
are
lot
certain
lost in
words
translation.
there are certain words that don't translate from one language to another.
It was a lot lost in translation.
I don't disagree with that, which is why it's important to
learn.
learn the original language. So we're back on track.
So-
See, when you're dealing with our people, you have to deal with the trauma that we've gone through.
Of course.
I've been
Right.
I've been
traumatized.
traumatized.
You've been traumatized.
Exactly.
So
We've
I
all
can
been
feel
traumatized.
From that
you.
book.
Well, that's your
That book
version of it.
traumatized me.
Like, a lot of our people have been traumatized, but you were traumatized before you even knew anything about the book.
How? You didn't.
Your family upbringing. You already said it on this program. My family upbringing has traumatized me, but it traumatized me to the point that I can't hear
But
somebody
they had
with
me in
another
church.
opinion.
They had me in church.
Well, the church is an indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they made sure that we went to their churches
Mm-hmm.
that they set up. You understand? It isn't what we set up as
But
a
the book
people.
is a part of that church.
The book, the church is a term that
Describes
identifies
the
people that
body.
come
It
together
only
as a body.
describes a
Exactly.
human body.
Exactly.
It does not
not
describe
brick
a
and mortar.
building.
Right,
It
it's
does
not
not
brick and
describe
You're exactly right.
a patol, and
You're
a
exactly
patol
right.
ain't nothing but the building of.
That's right.
I can't speak to the Bible because I haven't read it and I don't know enough about it.
Exactly.
But
Well,
my
that's okay.
personal relationship with God, I can talk to you about that all day.
Bingo.
And I would
That's right.
And you're doing that without
Hey.
the word. That's the
Hey.
point I'm
my
trying
word
to get
is written
everybody
on the
to
walls
see.
of my heart.
That's
My
right.
only point I want
That's what I
everybody to
know.
see is
Right.
that why should we make this book God when our people going through goddamn hell on earth?
Because of
But
our
we
ways.
making this book God that's been here from slavery.
Because of our
The
ways.
book was here when we
Before
was
slavery.
beaten. The book was here when we was brought and dropped off. The same words were in it then when we was hung on that tree and the pregnant woman hung
When they
and
took-
cutting
I
her
can
baby.
answer
When
that.
they
from us
took
from-
the land of
and the
Africa,
master,
they gave
listen,
us the Bible.
listen,
they
and the
took
master
land,
had
and
the
then
book
they
open
cleared
the
it.
whole time while he beat
You're
her
right.
to death.
But let me explain that to you.
Oh
And
my
you-
God,
and
they're gonna
because-
justify it. That's
Hold on,
Stockholm
hold on,
syndrome
hold
at
on,
its
hold on,
best.
Let me explain that
Let
to
me
you
go.
because see what you did last week on the program, you talked about the rape of our children,
Yes.
the abuse of our children,
Started
the
in slavery.
degradation of our families.
Yes.
These are sins that we're gonna be held accountable
Yes,
for.
I agree.
See, understand that.
Yeah.
When we talk about these brothers walking around and these Ninas going up in houses, robbing, raping, and killing.
Mm-hmm.
These, you just said it on this show. These are our children.
Yes.
Not only do they bear that sin, we bear it.
Yes.
So just because we are hung on those trees, the persecution is all
I'm
coming.
talking about the book
because-
being involved with it.
No, the book was used as excerpts. They used excerpts, like it says, slaves obey your masters. That was
And
only one segment.
Don't forget this part.
That's right. You're right.
Don't forget that.
So what they were
'Cause you
using
caught
because
that when
you
you
didn't
didn't pay
find
attention.
out the totality because the Spirit has to give it to you.
So Master gave you a good thing. He gave you Bible.
Well, what Master gave us was the lies that came from him. What the Spirit gave us was the truth of our ancestry.
And we still
That's
got
what
his
we're
book.
denying. What's your nationality?
We still got
No,
his book.
no. I asked you a simple question. What's your nationality?
Well, last time I checked, I was African.
Africa is a continent, playboy.
I'm African.
Okay, what tribe in Africa? See, you can't
See,
see
me-
your
me-
nation. Wait a minute.
uh.
Nation has to do with genealogy and it has to do with ancestry. So, what is your nation and tribal ancestry?
I've never looked.
Case closed.
It hasn't been in
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's yours?
My tribe? Oh, I have no idea.
Exactly. See,
I was gonna go on ancestry.com to look it up. But
going back to the
they
white
didn't go
man.
back that far. They
See what I'm
They
saying?
stopped at the plantation. So
What I do
wouldn't
know
go
is
past
a tribe of
that.
slaves.
Let me
It was a
take a
tribe of
shot.
slaves.
Give me a shot here. You know, this is why this program is yours. I mean, you saw and heard a lot of emotional pontification. That's what it's about.
Yes.
We
You're right.
family.
Yes.
It's about unity, being able to allow ourselves to hear each other.
Exactly.
Because the power of one is just that. It is powerful and it is the Most High that gives us our strength. I hope we've been edutaining to you. I pray that we'll be back next week. Peace.
Jesus was not a hippie.
Bow,
Jesus was not a hippie.
He said Jesus was not a
He
hippie.
was not a hippie.
Well, I enjoyed that.
Bro, this is what we
That's
do.
fire.